Do you ever wonder how life would be if you were born different? For example, born a different gender, born with disabilities, attracted to the same gender, and born a different race. This essay will be discussing about how moral growth affects and develops society, how people's differences has affected society in the past and present, how our need to belong has affected our identities and the people around us, and is also going to be talking about the 4 articles discussing racism and sexism, information about To Kill a Mockingbird, and information about the 3 videos discussing about racism. The reason for this essay was to talk about what we have learned about racism, sexism, and moral growth, and moral dilemma. Another paragraph is comparing and contrasting moral growth and moral dilemma. First off, this paragraph will be talking about how moral growth affects and develops society. Moral growth has a lot to do with good and bad choices we make every day. For example, if you saw someone getting bullied, would you help? Even if there was a chance that you could get bullied too. Would you help? Still, moral growth helps you decide the right choices. Most people make moral decisions based off of their past experiences, things like family, friends, school, culture, age, gender, and society. All impact and influence your decision. Things like knowledge, values, personal goals, and personality also influences your decision. All decisions also affect people in ways we might not even know of. But it is important to teach children moral growth when they are young because they can learn sooner than later. It is also important because they will have more experiences to tell what is right and what is wrong. According to Prezi.com, as a young child, we learn morally from those closest to us, and our parents have a big role in helping us build a strong moral value. Page 1. This paragraph is going to be discussing how people's differences has affected society's problems in the past and present. People's differences means gender, color, and who's they are attracted to, either guys or girls or even both genders. Let's talk about female problems in the past and present. Back then, women had to work at home and especially after marriage. Before the Industrial Revolution, men, women, and children worked together on a farm. After industrialism happened, work and home separated into 2 worlds. Of course, women had to stay home while the men went to work either in a bakery or a bank. Women were mostly known as caregivers. Nowadays, women get to work like men do. Women can do the stuff that are supposedly only for men. There are jobs that are supposedly women are supposed to be doing, like teaching kids, nurses, assistants, and etc. There are 2 people who aspire females are Oprah and Michelle Obama. Here are some more issues that people have which affect society right now: alcoholism, drinking and driving, a person ends up dead, drug abuse, global warming, suicide, gun control, and a bunch more. By not accepting someone likes the same sex as them and calling them names like gay or lesbian or making fun of them can prevent them to do suicide. Some people embrace those names called on them. For them, that's a compliment, but for someone who's barely coming out, might not embrace it. According to eNotes, it says women are required to balance a lot more today in the past, as well as jobs, children, homes, and general life.
This paragraph will be talking about 4 articles that talk about racism and sexism, and 3 videos that talk about racism and what the people went through. There are 4 articles called Two Names, Two Worlds, A Rainbow Creation, Finding One's Voice, and Stories We Tell Ourselves. Two Names, Two Worlds is talking about how someone's name immediately picks their race. The author of this article wants the reader to know that just because your name is Mexican or white or Native American or Chinese doesn't mean you have to act like that. A Rainbow Creation is talking about how the author and her husband reacted to their son's love for Barbies. The author wants the reader to know that it doesn't matter if you're into blue aisles or the pink aisles. All what matters is that you don't stop feeling like yourself. Finding one's voice is talking about how a colored boy finds his voice in a haiku book. The author wants the reader to know that anything that you want to do can be done if you try your hardest, because the author was growing up in a bad neighborhood and was threatened to be killed all the time, mostly because of his color of his skin. This last article, Stories We Tell Ourselves, is talking about how society tells us how to be. This white kid wanted a little sister so bad he stole a colored girl to be his sister, but his mother took her back to the playground. According to the articles we tell ourselves, it says, one of my mother's favorite stories was how I wanted a baby sister so badly, I kidnapped a black child in the playground of the house complex. The three videos were the Scott Boys, the Central Park Five, and Trayvon Martin. The watchers learn about these videos how about they would just accuse colored people even though they didn't do anything. They were just accused by the way they look. Like it didn't matter if they were innocent, they would still be guilty. Last but not least, this paragraph will be comparing and contrasting moral growth and moral dilemma. First things first, moral growth means focused on emergency change and understanding of growing into adulthood. There are 3 levels and 6 stages of moral growth. Some things that influence is family, school, peer group, society, and culture, age, and gender. Moral dilemma is when you're in a situation in which a person is torn between right and wrong. There are several types of moral dilemma. Here are 2 examples of moral dilemma. Overcrowded lifeboat means a bunch of people on a lifeboat either have one person thrown into the cold water or everyone sinks and save everyone but one family member that you love the most, or have the ocean filled with plastic. According to Freshen.com, it says to the father organizing.
Number 1. A runaway train. Imagine that you're the conductor of a train that you've suddenly lost control of and is about to crash into a group of 5 innocent bystanders, totally unaware of their impending doom. They'll definitely be killed by the impact unless you throw a switch that can divert the train to another track. But in this case, it would run over an unsuspecting man who's sleeping on the rails. Would you be able to throw the switch? A. Yes, easily. B. No way. I couldn't possibly do that with a clean conscience. Starting off strong, I see. Dang, what a tough choice. Perhaps those 5 people will notice the train and get out of harm's way. Should you risk it? You've got 10 seconds to decide. Number 2. A trolley out of control. A streetcar is out of control and speeding towards a group of 7 people. Okay, sounds familiar. Being on an overhead footbridge, you're not in danger. You see a big bulky guy standing next to you, and you realize that if you push the man onto the track below the footbridge, it'll stop the trolley. However, the man will surely die. On the other hand, you'll save 7 innocent people. Would you sacrifice 1 life for 7? A. I'd do it without hesitation. B. I just couldn't take a life, even if it meant saving 7 other people. Well, they're not called moral dilemmas for nothing. What's the right thing to do here? If 10 seconds isn't enough to solve this problem, you can always pause the video. Number 3. A judge's dilemma. You are the judge at a trial of a bank robber who is in fact innocent, and you know it for sure. But at the moment, The enemies of the accused have kidnapped your 6-year-old daughter and are demanding that you convict the robber in return for her freedom. You have no idea where they're keeping her, and the police can't figure it out as well. You're a nervous wreck and can't help but think that the kidnappers will or already are abusing your child. Would you convict the innocent man to save your daughter? A. I would never convict an innocent person. I'd try to find another way to save my child. B. In a heartbeat. It's twice as difficult when a child, especially your own, is involved. Which alternative is your heart telling you to pick? Number 4. Your best friend's wedding. You've been invited to your best friend's big day. 2 hours before the ceremony is supposed to start, you notice your friend's future spouse sneaking out of some storage room with another guest. They both look thoroughly disheveled, and you realize that they're having an affair. And here comes the dilemma. If you tell your friend what you found out, their perfect day will be completely ruined. At the same time, how can you allow your friend to marry somebody who's unfaithful? What would you do in such a situation? A. I'd tell my friend about the affair. Everybody deserves to know the truth. B. I wouldn't say anything. After all, my job is to support my friend's new beginnings. Plus, I could be mistaken. It's not a life or death choice. We need a break from those. But it's still a tough one. To make a friend unhappy but aware, or keep them blissfully ignorant.